has been a frustrating week for travelers. You know it if you've been on a plane. I certainly have felt it as furloughs brought on by those forced spending cuts caused thousands of flight delays across the country. It seems, though, that Congress listened pretty quickly to all that grumbling. Lawmakers passing a bill this week that allows the FAA to avoid future furloughs for those critical air traffic controllers. Joining me now, travel expert Mark Murphy. He's the author of Travel Unscripted. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
I think first question for anyone, good morning, anyone flying, does this mean we're done with those delays immediately?
No, you got to understand with the airlines, things stack up. And as they stack up, it takes several days to unwind. So we're looking at several days to get back to normal for the traveling public. At least 72 hours.
Travelers. Okay, at least 72 hours. I know I sat on the runway on Wednesday night for 4 hours, and the captain of my plane said you can write a letter to your congressman or woman. So in terms of how bad they were, give us a sense across the board.
I have sources at Newark Airport that were screaming about the problems. You had a website that went up, don'tgroundamerica.com. The airlines really get it because they're seeing those delays. And literally, if you looked at a board at Newark Airport, at least half the flights were either canceled or delayed, and in some cases, 2/3 of the flights on that screen. So it was a real headache for passengers, and got to a point where they were thinking about abandoning the Passenger Bill of Rights, which fines airlines if they leave people on the ground like you for more than 3 hours.
Well, you know, though, Jay Carney in the White House coming out, although, you know, they're going to sign this legislation, saying this is just a temporary fix. This is just a Band-Aid fix, right?
Well, you know what? I own a business, and when I run a business, I have to make decisions on how I allocate my resources. The government should be doing the same thing. They should be looking at what those budgets are, how they're going to allocate those resources, and not create a crippling effect. We're talking about the FAA in 2013 at 2010 levels, and I got to believe with fewer flights in the air today than there were in 2010, that the FAA can operate and keep us safe and keep us traveling. And I think the challenge is we've got basically a political football, which became the travel industry, and not only is the travel industry suffering, the entire economy as well as all the travelers. And that's the challenge. We've got to get the politics out of it and use some common sense.
In terms of cost, of course, employing all of these people, there is a significant cost that comes with it, but their role is critical to safety, to efficiency. Is there any idea about whether or not the cost is going to get passed down to us, to the people that buy the tickets and take these flights? Are we going to have to pay more as a result, or is this a purely government budget issue?
Well, you know what? It's a great question. I mean, if we look at government budgets, they're way up overall, so they're dramatically increased in the last 5 years. But if you look at the actual ticket price you pay, 20% of the cost of your ticket price today goes to things like the FAA. So you're already paying as a traveler for that service, and the fact that they can't deliver on it, in spite of having budgets going up year over year, and looking at 2010 versus 2013, and we're at the same level. Some will even say we're up this year versus last year, yet that's why I say it's more politics than reality, because if you're going to run a business and you have a 4% overall cut, you're going to find ways to cut that 4% without damaging your core business. And the core for the FAA is keep flights flying on time, get you there safely, and that's number one. That's priority number one. So if that's not the number one thing you can focus on, maybe I'm missing something.
Quickly, though, do you think that we're going to be paying more to add to that increasing budget? We're going to pay more and more surcharges added onto our tickets?
No, and here's why. I don't think the public's going to stand for more taxes, more fees, more things to operate when they understand that budgets have gone up dramatically. And I think we're getting to that point where people are going to be pushing back, because at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what are you getting for all of those extra fees? And you know what? We just want to arrive safely and on time.
Mark Murphy, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, for some of the victims of the Boston bombing,